Welcome back to Careful Boys. We are very careful boys. Today we got Can. Today we got an interesting conversation we were kind of having off camera about how our parents have kind of accepted or adjusted to the fact that we all have kind of weird jobs and weird lives.
Yeah, because over the years I just realized that I'm surrounded by circus clowns.
Yes.
Everywhere. All around me, right? And I do have friends from, you know, like the professional sector, like just traditional jobs or whatever. But then I was like, in this room today, nobody here actually works in that field. And all of us, I mean, like I think from childhood, as your first job or like you working was like Poriotics and touring the world.
That was, yeah. I mean, I had a part-time, but I only worked for that like a year.
But that was like the start of your career, and you've been in entertainment ever since, right? And then so like, I was like, oh shit, how did your guys' parents take that?
Oh, so my parents actually, they've always been supportive of my hobbies, but then when I got older, graduated high school, they're expecting you to go to college, learn whatever, and
They're like, I didn't think you were gonna fucking try to dance for life. What the hell is wrong with you?
And then the reason why I started dancing more was because I didn't get into college, or the college that I wanted to get into, which was Cal State Long Beach, right? Because there was this thing that happened where I got admitted, and so I was like, cool, picked my classes, and then like 3 days before class starts, I get a letter. I'm like, oh, we canceled your admission. I'm like,
why?
Did you do that?
yeah. They did that to me, because they looked back at my record, and they're like, oh, we found this one thing. Like, it was like in my English class or something, I got a D. So like, just because of that, they're like, nah, we don't want you to come to school anymore. Wow. So from that, I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna dance and do my part-time job.
D for dance.
Yeah, D for dance. But then their reaction was kind of like, they were like, okay, you can dance, but just make sure you go back to school, make sure you know, get a job and all this. So they basically kind of didn't want me to keep doing it, but I just kept doing it anyway. But yeah.
That sounds pretty kind and reasonable.
Yeah, they didn't get mad because it's like, what can you really do?
I'm surprised your parents didn't do the traditional beat your ass to be a pharmacist thing.
No, they actually didn't want me to be any of that. They wanted me to be like a architect or something like my dad, you know, something that could.
Your dad's an architect?
Yeah, he's an he does a contracting.
Are you an only child?
No, I have an older brother.
Yeah, we did a whole thing about him.
Yeah.
Was I here for that?
No, I wasn't here for that.
I wasn't either.
What does your older brother do?
So, I don't want to talk about what he does. Let's just put it like that. Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Are you have to kill us kind of shit?
And then, okay, how about this? He's a rapper. You know, he's a rapper, and they don't care what he does. Like, my parents don't care.
I only ask because it's like for example, I have an older sister who is very successful, has children, does like regular shit. So I feel like my parents are a little more lax on me.
Do they? Oh, so they don't compare you because they feel like we already got one out of the
outside of maybe
they already got a good one.
Maybe the subconscious, like I'm the boy, so like if I produce a son, then like the name goes on. But at the same time, I have like the second most common last name in the world. So who gives a fuck?
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
Very true. Yeah.
You must restore the Lee name.
Yeah, the Lee dynasty is definitely under threat if I don't produce heirs.
I know. They're like, I don't know.
But I ask because, you know, like I can understand how parents sometimes end up doing that.
Yeah.
That's a different answer than I was expecting.
Dude, yeah. The only time I ever felt like my dance career was like kind of done was like after we actually already made it and I started traveling a lot. And then because I wasn't home anymore, she would always be like, okay, you know, when you're done traveling, make sure you go back to school, please. Like, you have to. And I was like,
after you're done making all of this money, traveling the world, fucking all these hoes, make sure you go back to school.
yeah, they were still very adamant of me going back to school and getting that normal life because they knew that maybe they foresaw it. Maybe they were like, maybe this entertainment stuff doesn't really last that long because it really didn't. I mean, it lasted for like 10 years. But like, you know, now I'm thinking like, man, they were probably right. Like, I probably should have done something on top of dance, but I never did.
Dan, did you ever tell him that? Your mom might fucking come.
What the fuck?
No, but that's a good thing though.
Soak City. Soak City for sure, dude.
You want that reaction.
She might be like, I knew it.
She's like,
So you're gonna go to school?
You go to school.
Knew it.
Oh, Soak City, Westminster.
She's like,
where's she from?
my mom?
Soak City is where she's from.
Yes.
They come too, bro. Moms come too.
Buena Park.
Oh, Buena Park, nice.
No, that's where Soak City is.
Oh.
That's my hood, baby.
Is that where it is? Soak City, right?
Yeah, totally. I like
wherever this guy
Not
goes,
Very
Soak
Farm
City.
was my first job ever.
This guy is Soak City.
My mom's from Vietnam.
What job did you say you quit when?
Oh, I was an auto part delivery driver. So I worked at a auto parts, like they basically did resale, like they buy it.
Was it an Asian business?
No, it was like a white dude. Yeah, and
Like
then
an AutoZone?
Like it's like when you're at a mechanic and then they need a part for that car, they call in. Yeah, he's that guy.
yeah, but
AutoZone.
yeah, so I,
white
I
dude.
did
Was it
that for
Master
like a
Loop?
year, but I
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly said.
It was like whatever, because I just kind of drove around listening to music. It was super chill. But then the opportunity came up to dance, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna quit this shit, dude.
Can I ask what your parents do? Unless you guys all went over this already.
No, his dad's an architect, right?
Can't tell us what his
Architect?
brother does.
My
might as well
mom,
ask him
my
that.
mom used to.
I can't fucking tell you.
I can't tell you. Well, he's a
work
white,
at-
that's all I can say.
My mom used to work at China Airlines, so she used to be not a flight attendant, but the people that work at the counter. And then she became she did nails. Yeah,
So with me.
yeah. Now she does nails.
Have you been to an AutoZone before? Have you ever walked into an AutoZone and just yelled, "I'm in the zone"?
AutoZone.
And the guys there are just like, "God damn it, another one."
No, I walk in there and I go, oh, right.
They're like wrong
They're like,
store.
"Yo, you get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
motherfucker."
They throw a wrench at you and shit.
No, it's actually yeah. I actually delivered to like Pep Boys and like all like Honda centers.
Oh,
whatever.
you're actually answering my question.
Yeah,
You're sweet.
yeah.
You're sweet.
Non-discriminatory.
Sweetie.
Yeah.
What a sport.
I care about your
Thank you, bro.
opinion.
So hypothetically, we were going back to the topic. What does your parents think of what you do now?
Yeah, how about now?
now
Like, you're not dancing anymore. How when you gotta go to school?
yeah, I actually edit videos now, and I do a video editing company.
Yeah, you have a successful thing going
He
on.
edits my vlogs. He edits JK. He edits Mike Tyson. He edits Tiger Belly. He edits who else?
Fuck, I don't know.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, you know Kat from but she was here before.
Oh yeah.
No, we don't know her.
Okay, well anyway.
Not the one who was here yesterday, right?
Yeah, and Barbell. I'm starting with Barbell too.
Oh cool.
Just like our circle, pretty much.
We don't mention barbell here anymore.
Mike Tyson's not really our circle.
Unless you talk about Barbell Brigang raped by a lizard.
Yeah, we talk about that. We talk about that.
Reference the other video.
Brigang rape a lizard.
We rebranded for him.
Barbell Brigang rape.
Does your mom feel like it's more legitimate now because you have an editing company?
Yeah, and so now, like when I have friends over, she knows like, oh, those are my like employees.
So they're like not dance friends.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are editing
Dance
friends.
friends are the worst.
The answer suck.
Yeah, dude, I haven't toured in like over a year.
Because of COVID?
Yeah. Well, we still did shows during COVID. Actually, we did like 1 or 2 shows. It was super random. But then after that, this is like the first year where I'm like, okay, no more dancing. I'm just gonna focus on business.
Cool, yeah.
What about relationship stuff? Are you doing any of that right now?
No.
Staying out of the game?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a fucking racket, huh?
it's like it's been 2 years now. Yeah.
Fucking racket. How about you, Nick? What was your mom's reaction like? Like, you want to be a fucking fighter? The hell? You can't even fight me.
Yeah, honestly. There was a little bit of that. She's like, "You're a little pussy. You'll never make it, son." That's what she would say to me.
Good.
No, but
Pussy and son in the
Because
same sentence.
your actual goal was to be a pro fighter, right?
Yeah,
that was the
I wanted
first
to start
before you
fighting,
got into fitness and stuff.
Yeah. So I wanted to fight. And then they were all looking at me like I was fucking crazy. But I would tell them that like, "Oh, I'm just joining this karate school." That's what I told them. And they were like, "Oh, okay. I'm just doing karate, nothing crazy."
So you didn't tell them like you're UFC.
Nah, it was none of that shit. And then I came back with like my ear all fucked up. And they were all like,
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
"Nothing. It's normal now."
I didn't realize it was that hard.
Touch it. It's hard. If
What are you doing?
Oh my god!
Dude, I've seen that during fights. I've seen that. They do that shit.
Oh, that's a move?
But yeah. What? Which is like, you fucking dig your ears.
They do that.
Well, because it's like calcified.
So
Really? So you use it like a golf ball on the chest?
Nah, not like that. Only when I want to for party tricks like this. But yeah. So where was I? Oh yeah. So I wanted to start fighting, and then once I started getting my ear all fucked up, my mom was like mortified.
Yeah.
Like there was times where I would like talk to her, and she'd look at me in the eye, and then slowly just look at my ear, like mid conversation, and then just be like,
But it's
you know,
like
I
the
gave-
opposite idea. It's like,
Whoa.
She looks at it that way.
She really has to get that figured out.
But she, yeah, it's a problem actually.
What was she? What did you say she said?
But she would like look at it and be like, you know, I gave birth to you and you had normal ears and now your ears are all fucked up. Like she would say that shit to me.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's actually crazy.
It's crazy. But
right through the soul.
if you knew my mom, it'd be like, oh, that's just normal mom, like my mom shit.
But did that actually? I mean, because
maybe she's trying to reach out to you.
I've never actually gotten to talk to you about this, but did that actually bother you when that started to happen to your ears?
No. At first, I was like, it was just part of it because in the culture, in the MMA culture, it's seen as like a badge of honor. Like it is something really cool, right? But at the time, which was hard for me, was when I first started training, I had these really sick ass ears, but I still sucked. You know what I mean? So I got it really early. So everyone's like, "Oh, you must be a black belt," and I was like, "No, I'm not."
You just got fucked up.
Yeah, and it was purely just me getting my ass kicked all the time, and then my ear got all fucked
That's
up.
still something though. 'Cause,
Thanks, man.
You have to get your ass kicked if you want to get better, right?
I don't know if you know this, but I'm really good at getting knocked out.
He's the guy.
I'm the guy.
He's a knockout artist of being knocked out.
You learn how to get up more.
Yeah, sometimes I just lay there. I don't really get up that much. But no, so when I would start fighting and stuff, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was great. But I remember the first time I had my first like MMA fight, I was like cutting weight in my bathroom, and it was like I had to use the bathtub. And
Wait, what does that mean?
so cutting weight is I would have to weigh in at, say, at the time I'd walk around maybe like 145, 150 pounds, but I had to fight at 135 pounds.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm aware of that. But why are you cutting weight in a bathtub?
Well, because what I would do is you would Epsom salt bath. Yeah, just jerk off. Epsom salt bath and get really, really hot, sweat, and then you would lay on the floor, put a bunch of towels on you, and then you would just sweat like a cocoon. Whoa. And I remember I was doing that in my parents' bathroom because they had a bathtub. And my dad just didn't really know that I was like gonna do any of this stuff. Like he was just kind of like, oh, you train, whatever. He just thought I was like doing this for fitness. And then he wakes up in the middle of the night and sees me in he sees a son in a cocoon of towels on the fucking floor. And I'm like, I'm on death's door because it sucks. Cutting weight is awful. You feel terrible. And then I wasn't expecting him to give me this reaction. And this is the night before the fight. I was gonna fight the next day. And it was like a big moment for me, at least in my head. And he just was like pissed. He was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? My dad usually doesn't react to most things. But he was like, what are you doing? Why the fuck are you even doing this? And he was
Did you know what you were doing?
Well, I told him, he's like,
was cocooning.
I was cocooning. And I was like, I have a fight tomorrow. And he goes, what the fuck? Why are you even doing this? Stop fighting. You don't need to be doing this shit. Like, he was like mad.
Just tell him you don't want no trouble.
Yeah, don't want trouble and beat him up with your jacket. So like that was kind of a weird head trip, like going into that fight that next day and being like, oh dude, this fucking nobody wants me to do this shit. But it wasn't
So
that
then
big
you
of a deal.
envisioned your father, you whooped that guy's ass. Huh?
And I actually won. I actually
Oh, nice.
But at the same don't.
You got knocked out and you won by disqualification.
Yeah, he used an illegal strike. He hit me with a steel chair, and Triple H came from the fucking entrance. They got double teamed. It was
Attitude
crazy.
era, so sick.
Dude, the ref got knocked out.
And I pinned him.
You pinned him. Well, somebody dragged you on top of the guy that you were asleep on top of him, and you got the 3 count when the ref woke back up.
Yeah, dude, but it was like a laborious 3 count.
Yeah, the
But yeah, like, and that was pretty much it. But as far as my career now and going into coaching, they're actually relieved that I wanted to do more of that.
So they're more afraid of your health and injury?
Because when I started getting more, like I got a couple of head injuries back to back, like later on in my career, and they were really fucking not okay with it. Like it was actually quite emotional, bro. Like I remember having that concussion, and I was freaking the fuck out. My family, they were freaking out. They were worried, like, this kid's gonna be a fucking vegetable, you know? Because I was having like concussion syndrome stuff. And it was weird because like I remember like laying there like kind of crying and shit because I was like, this is all I wanted to do, but I don't think I could handle these types of injuries. Like I'm just not well equipped for this. And I remember my girl was there. She saw me really emotional, and it was just me talking to my girl about it, like, yo, this is fucked up. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, because at that time I already spent so much time and effort in the sport, and I still didn't have like a crazy amateur career either. But it was just like, it was just emotional for me because I was like, this is who I thought I was, and having to get away from that identity was a weird thing. But I think I really found what I actually really wanted to, which is coaching, because I feel like
you're pretty good. I mean, I used to train with you all the time, and it was really fun. Like it didn't even feel like I was like I had a coach. It was just like, oh, let's go hang out with Nick, and he's gonna tell me how to get buff and shit.
Yeah. So I'm thankful that I went through all that stuff, because it was experience that I will never, like. Competing is one thing, like that's a whole different mindset, and I think for me at the time I wasn't ready for that. So yeah, it was good.
But I mean, like I've never seen David lose weight before, but with Nick, he not only lost weight, but he also learned how to fight.
It's crazy. And everyone says Dave's good now.
He's good, man.
It was pretty good. But the thing about David though, I wish I could take all the credit, but David, he's one of those guys that's like, you could make him do anything. Once he sets his mind to it, he's gonna fucking get
Just
it.
take all the credit, dude. It's David.
Because of you, though.
I heard he's nonstop getting knocked out now, thanks to you.
No, he stopped training with me. Now he's fine.
What did your parents do?
My mom doesn't work, but my dad was a sound editor, so he.
Oh, so he already had like a non-traditional job.
Yeah, he kind of dude, his story is crazy. Like that dude, he immigrated here when he was like 6 or something, like 7 from Taiwan, and they lived in San Francisco, and then he left there, came to LA, started working the mailroom at DreamWorks, and then got a sound editing gig from there. So he was like one of those dudes that kind of just like found his way in, and he actually worked on crazy movies. Like he did a bunch of Indiana Jones movies. He did 48 Hours. Like just all over the place. And he worked for like Sony.
So he was already working in entertainment.
Yeah, like that was his thing. And he used to always tell me like, you should get entertainment. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
That's like the most opposite Asian dad story I've ever heard. Like he's telling you to do entertainment.
Yeah, he's like, you should do like he wanted me to do like kid acting, and I was like, no.
Kid acting.
I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Wait, so how do they feel? How do your parents feel now that they know that you're
They want to do kid acting right now.
I don't tell
you're
them
doing
shit.
kid acting on JK News?
I just tell them, I'm like, yeah, I just do this like podcast thing. Like I just kind of keep it real fucking brief, you know. But they're just like,
You're not
oh,
proud
cool.
of us?
I get it.
I'm like, don't watch this fucking show.
Does your dad critique the sound editing?
It's like, why is it so echoey?
So what's up with the fucking
Foley is
You're in
terrible.
entertainment now, dude.
I taught you nothing.
Yeah. But you know, I don't think my dad actually knows that I do this because he actually just recently came back from Taiwan. He's been in Taiwan since the pandemic. So I haven't seen him. I was supposed to go see him this weekend. Find out he's in Vegas. I don't know what the fuck.
You haven't seen your father in years?
Maybe I saw him.
at Sapphire?
We're playing phone tag. You know what I mean? But he dipped out there because of the pandemic. I think he had a stroke before the pandemic. And he had kind of like weird mobility in his legs. So he
Holy
wanted
crap. Did he recover from it
He
fully?
did. He did.
Jesus Christ, that's a fucking
But,
huge
like,
thing.
He went to Taiwan because he doesn't believe in like Western medicine. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But he's the most Americanized Asian dude ever.
But he'd rather do ginseng.
Yeah, low key.
So he's a Hollywood white girl.
Holistic.
he kind of is.
Well, it's also probably maybe Western prices.
yeah. That's,
Oh, true, because they get free healthcare out there, right?
But he's also the most stubborn man I've ever met in my life.
Well, I mean, most dads are pretty stubborn.
You know what I mean? So it's like I tell him like, hey, you should probably do physical therapy, and he's like, that shit's a racket. And then fucking like dips
Damn,
out.
he knows the word racket.
Dude, my dad actually fucking hates what are they called? Were they like
Chiropractors.
He fucking hates those guys.
I get it
Really?
because his back cracks and he's like, a lot of them are fucking charlatans, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of them just put out bullshit. It's crazy. But there's some really good chiropractors out there.
But I like it when my balls are adjusted and then my back feels better.
What the fuck?
Have you ever had your ears cracked? Like,
It feels good.
it's fucking crazy.
I like all the cracking stuff because it feels good, but
Yeah.
I don't fucking know anything.
But even the chiropractors like, I do this shit for show. Like I just get people to feel good. I pop. But like all the stuff that actually hurts, like the soft tissue in the heart, like the grassing,
Touch
all
me,
that
baby,
shit,
touch me.
the fucking bleeding, like that shit's the real stuff. But
Yeah, one acupressure or acupuncture session is like 10 chiropractor sessions for me.
really.
Yeah.
acupuncture's legit though.
Hey, what do your guys' parents think about, like, especially for the dancer boys here? We have a lot of them in the room.
all 4 of us.
You know when your dad's kind of like a macho dude and shit, and like you don't, the idea of dance, especially where I grew up, it was kind of like seen as like for chicks.
Especially in that generation too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you guys made that shit cool.
Yeah, exactly. Did you guys get any hell from like the males in your life, like coming up?
I didn't because the shit I was practicing didn't even look like I was dancing. Looked like I was just practicing stunts. So my dad was always
Ryan's style is suicidal style. That's what we call it. Or sacrificial style.
my dad was kind of like your dad. He's like, what the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah, you're gonna fucking hurt
Just
yourself.
didn't understand like why I would possibly want to, like, it didn't even equate to dance, but then also I kept it a secret for so long because in Seventh-day Adventist religion you're not allowed to dance.
What?
Whoa.
So our religion was like
So
weird.
it worked for me that what I was doing looked like acro, so they never caught on until
They thought it was acrobatics because breakdancing.
So you started doing choreo.
Well, I also tried to not make it look as serious when I was at home. I felt like the story of the capoeira origin, where it's like you try to hide your self-defense. So then it just looked like I was fucking around all the time. And then when I would go to school, I would go to the gym really early, and then I would just break in there and really try super hard.
So you never told them I want to be a dancer.
No, I never told them. I never told them at all that I wanted to be a dancer until I was on fucking TV.
See,
And then-
that's how you do it, Asian kids. Lie to your parents. Don't fucking tell them your
Yeah.
dreams. Do it secretly, and then boom, you're on
Channel
TV.
5. Turn on Channel 5 right now.
Don't invite your parents to your tournaments or any competitions. I remember the first jiu-jitsu tournament I did, and I didn't prepare for it at all. I went there, I won a couple matches, and my parents came, and they missed those matches. My parents came, my sister came. The final match, I get my arm like pop, 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 in front of all of them. So they're already thinking like, this kid's a fucking.
That's gotta be so tough.
It's
Yeah, just
rough,
watching
bro.
your kid just get knocked.
Just get
up.
fucking get his arm, and I'm like at a drive home in the Miata, and my arm was all fucked up, covered in ice, and it was sticks. I'm like, yeah, it's terrible, dude. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
So I got away with a lot because it didn't really occur to them at all. And then
Didn't say nothing.
yeah, and then and even if I was doing like dance stuff at school, it just looked like anything, like just like a side thing you're doing. Like I tried to make it look as not serious as possible.
Yeah.
But in your heart, were you like, I'm pursuing this
Oh,
motherfucker?
100%. And then when I was on So You Think You Can Dance, that's you just can't fucking hide anymore. So everyone from my church knew, my whole school knew. And then yeah, my parents were pretty pissed.
Really?
Yeah.
They're like,
pretty
you brought shame to our Christian
Yeah, because
family.
that looks pretty crappy to be like. I think it also sucks parentally, like regardless of how you feel about dance, it sucks parentally for all these other people at the, like, because both my parents work in hospitals, and then for all these other Filipino like nurses they know to go, we saw your son, he's so good, and they're just like, you what? Like it makes them look dumb and look bad parents, and then
like
and then
uninvolved.
They got blindsided.
That's why they gotta do what my mom did. Just be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I knew this.
And then for production, like for So You Think, when I so I was on So You Think You Dance season 1, and they loved the and I thought I was auditioning for Dance 360. I didn't know it was because it didn't have a name yet. It was so new. So then they did a bunch of home story stuff, and they were like, tell us like about your background and everything. I didn't know any better. I just said all the true stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, this is that. And my parents, they're like, and they couldn't even comprehend why my parents would be that unsupportive of it. But to me, that shit's normal, you know?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
back then, I feel like the Asian typical fucking story that we've all heard so much about. Oh, my parents don't approve. Like that was
normal.
They didn't know it at the time. Now it's like, don't even bother saying it.
What about dance? It's kind of funny because it's like Footloose villains.
It is though. It really is. It's kind of like dumb. They try to make that stuff so dramatic sometimes.
They put all that shit on TV about my parents not wanting me to do it, and my parents are pretty sad about that.
Yeah.
And I think
Because they're like, you didn't give us a chance to even accept it.
well, I think they were sad. I remember my mom saying like, hey, can you just not say that anymore? But even though it was true still, like they were still like, hey, you're gonna go back to school after the show is done, right? And this was like the start of my solo career when right afterwards I was doing a bunch of like cool stuff. I was traveling, teaching, all by myself. And then I think the guilt like got to me and I was like, fuck man, I should go back to school. So then I actually went back to school, and then I went back to Cypress College to finish some more prereqs. Because my big thing was like I always wanted to go to like a proper university, but I didn't do well enough in high school. So then I went back to Cypress College. Tons of people would go, what the fuck are you doing here? Because that like, I guess surge of like fame hadn't died down yet, so I was really embarrassed. I was like, dude, I'm fucking going to, it looked like I failed.
Yeah,
But then I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, fuck, I just kept saying I'm doing it for my parents, fuck, like just don't let it get to you.
But what happened after that?
And then I did really well. I got a full ride to UCI, and then I went to University of California, Irvine. My parents were super proud. They put the fucking UCI pennant on the wall. Like they were like, this is finally like our dream for you. Thank you so much.
That's crazy.
And then 1 quarter left till graduation. I left to do ABD.
Amazing.
How'd I feel about that?
They were pissed all over again.
You are the fucking most interesting man.
That's so
really
awesome.
They were disappointed all over again because they were like,
You got our hopes up.
and I didn't have to pay a dime for UCI. Like it was all like.
That's great.
Why don't you just send them a fucking screenshot of your celebrity net worth?
19 milli.
Then they're gonna ask for some of it.
Yeah, but you lived like a way crazier life because you didn't go to school or because you didn't finish.
Yeah, but it's, you know, like the thing that I completely don't fault them for it. It's like as a parent, you want for your kids what you understand to be the best possible thing, and it's like they did that formula, and I 100% understand why it worked.
Yeah.
And it completely did, and honestly, it would work for me too.
And they want the best for
But
you.
I just can't live with making that choice.
But what I like about this generation is we broke that perspective of all the Asian parents because now
And now we have so much more competition, Can. Why the fuck do they want to pursue this shit?
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, you know, like it also annoys me when I see other like Asian dancers like be like, I can't believe my parents don't support me, or they're like, that's their home story. I'm like, dude,
You and fucking millions of other Asian
yeah,
kids.
it's like it's
you
just
think
a
you're so
given,
unique.
man. It's just a given. Like you kind of. I wish I didn't even say that, but like they were just. I didn't.
yeah.
that
understand.
was
What
the
happened.
truth though.
This is
That
what
was-
happened. Yeah.
But then
But
I
it's
also
because
wasn't
you
pissed.
see the other kids being supported by their whole families. They're there. They have cards for them. They're like clapping for them. And when you see that, you're kind of envious. It's
Yeah,
like, what
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck?
You know, it's like you think of like in my mind, I always imagine like these white little league boys that their parents are there and they're so passionate about the
Yeah.
game. But then I'm a fucking like I'm 8 and 22, and then my parents can't really do the same. You know, like.
Dude, even then the parents were there and they're like, kill him, fucking kill him. Who gives a shit? Fucking get the ball to third. Who gives a fuck?
I think that's why I think it's an asset. I think everybody in that same position that I was in, which there's a fucking shitload of them, that's your biggest asset. I think that you don't need to have that. You know, like it's.
Well, the converse is pretty wild. Like, your parents are too interested, and then you're in pageants, and you're like, oh no, I fucking hate my life. I just want to die.
It's not even your
And
dream.
your mom's like, hey, big, let's get a big one.
That's so weird. That's even more weird.
That's
worse.
way fucking worse.
The worst.
Dude, I used to coach this kid. He was like, we saw him since he was 5 to like 12. And every day his dad wanted him to be a fighter so fucking bad. But this kid hated every single day of practice. He was really talented.
Sucks.
But guarantee you, I think he stopped fighting now because he's just so burnt out.
Parents made him hate it.
Yeah, exactly. Once he kissed a girl, that was it.
Dude, that's the trick to good parenting. Just force them to do what you know they're not gonna like, so they can do what you actually want them to do.
Be a doctor.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
Like, hey, come on, why aren't you dancing, Ken Jr.? Come on. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then he fucking hates it so much he becomes the doctor. I'm like, yes.
No, yeah. I feel like that'll happen.
What I like the most about this conversation is Bart wasn't here to stand up as soon as Ryan started talking and cut the camera.
It was too good.
Great story. Great story.
Feel the feels.